Today we're ranking every Game of Thrones villain, from relatively harmless to the one you would never survive. Guess who it will be? And this is not just about who wants to hurt you, it's about who actually can. We shall have the following tiers. D, can harm individuals. C, dangerous but limited. B, very dangerous but situational. A, extremely dangerous. Survival is possible, but unlikely. S, overwhelming threat. If you face them, you don't survive. Before we rank them, we need clear criteria. First, power. How much damage they can actually do. Armies, status, influence, magic, everything counts. Second, intent. Not what they can do, but what they want to do. Some won't touch you unless provoked. Others will hunt you for no reason. Third, cruelty. Do they enjoy suffering itself, or just use violence as a tool? Fourth, intelligence. Can they plan, manipulate, predict, and betray? Or do they just react and lash out? Fifth, stability. Are they controlled or unpredictable? Because power in unstable hands is far more dangerous than power alone. Sixth, moral flexibility. Can they change, regret, turn to the other side? Or are they locked into what they are? And finally, scale. Do they harm individuals, small groups, or entire systems? Now, with that in mind, let's start. Number 1, Viserys Targaryen.
I'm a dragon! I won my crown!
We start with someone with a name, but no real power behind it. Power, low. Viserys is a Targaryen, but his only asset is his name. He has no army, no resources, and no real control over anything. Intent, low to medium. He does not seek to harm random people, but his intent is highly reactive.
You do not command the dragon. I am Lord of the Seven Kingdoms.
The moment his ego is challenged, it spikes immediately. His behavior is driven less by strategy and more by wounded pride. Cruelty, high. Viserys is openly abusive.
You are a horse-lord slut!
He beats Daenerys and threatens extreme violence, including her unborn child.
He can keep the baby. I'll cut it out and leave it for him.
However, his cruelty is not rooted in sadism. He does not enjoy suffering for its own sake. He acts this way because he believes this is how a king should behave. At the same time, if he had real power, this cruelty would likely escalate significantly. Intelligence, low. Viserys is incapable of planning and assessing situations correctly. He is locked inside his fantasy bubble. Stability, extremely low. Viserys is one of the most unstable characters in the story. His emotions shift rapidly, and he has no control over his reactions, especially under pressure. Moral flexibility, very low. His worldview is rigid and centered around entitlement.
This is my army. Khal Drogo's marching the wrong way with my army.
His identity as a rightful king is so deeply ingrained that when reality challenges it, he cannot adapt. He collapses instead.
I'm a dragon! I won my crown!
Scale, minimal. Without power, Viserys can only harm those directly under his control, such as Daenerys and servants. His impact is extremely limited. Viserys is not dangerous because of what he is, but because of what he would become if given power. His combination of high cruelty and extreme instability has no outlet. We place him in D tier, limited threat in practice, but high potential for destruction under different circumstances. Number 2, Theon Greyjoy.
Theon?
It's Prince Theon now.
The man who betrayed Robb Stark at a critical moment and helped set the North on the path to collapse.
Why would Theon?
Because the Greyjoys are treasonous whores.
Power, medium to low. His power comes from a small force given to him, not from his own position. Intent, minimal as a baseline. Theon does not seek harm for its own sake. However, his intent changes under pressure. When he tries to prove himself, especially to his father,
I'm a proven warrior.
Your brothers were warriors.
he becomes significantly more destructive. Cruelty, low. He does commit cruel acts, particularly after taking Winterfell, but these are driven by insecurity and the need to assert authority. He does not enjoy suffering and does not act out of sadism. Intelligence, low. Theon is a champion in making poor decisions.
The shame of the family.
He fails to anticipate consequences, overestimates his position, and lacks strategic thinking.
Send more ravens.
You killed all the ravens.
Stability, low. Under pressure, Theon becomes erratic and reactive.
Okay, Evan, I will kill that man!
His decisions are driven by insecurity and fear rather than control, which makes him unpredictable and dangerous in the wrong circumstances. Moral flexibility, very high. Unlike most characters on this list, Theon is capable of change.
I've done plenty of things that I regret. Not compared to me, you haven't.
He regrets his actions, shifts sides, and ultimately sacrifices himself. This significantly reduces his long-term threat. Scale, situational, but high at peak. At his peak, Theon causes major damage. His capture of Winterfell destabilizes the North and contributes to a chain of events leading to Bolton dominance and the Red Wedding. However, this level of impact is not consistent. It only appears under specific conditions. Theon is not dangerous by nature, but extremely dangerous when trying to prove himself. His instability, combined with situational power, makes him a volatile but inconsistent threat. We place him in C tier, situational danger with high impact outcomes. Number 3, Walder Frey.
Your family's always pissed on me.
My lord, I will...
Don't deny it. You know it's true.
Now we move to real political players. Power, medium. Walder Frey is not one of the great lords, but he controls the twins, a key strategic crossing. Combined with his large family and ambition, this gives him consistent leverage. Intent, conditional. He is not dangerous to random people. But if his ego or interests are challenged, he becomes highly vindictive and patient in retaliation.
They all laughed at me. All those high lords.
Cruelty, low to medium. Frey does not harm for pleasure, but he is fully willing to use cruelty as a tool. The Red Wedding is not driven by sadism, but by calculation, even though the scale of violence is extreme. Intelligence, medium. He is not a grand strategist, but he is highly opportunistic.
I have Tywin Lannister backing me.
He reads situations well, waits, and chooses the winning side. However, he does not build long-term power or alliances, which limits his overall success. Stability, high. Frey is consistent in his behavior. He can maintain alliances, appear cooperative, and wait for the right moment to act. His actions are calculated rather than impulsive. Moral flexibility, high. He does not follow principles or loyalty. His decisions are based entirely on advantage, and he will betray any agreement if it benefits him. Scale, medium to high. On his own, his influence is limited, but in alliance with stronger players, he can contribute to large-scale events with major consequences. Walder Frey is not powerful on his own, but extremely dangerous when aligned with stronger forces and given the right opportunity. We place him in high C tier, situational but impactful threat. Number 4, Lord Bolton.
I hope she makes you very happy.
Well, she's made me very rich.
Since we're talking about the Red Wedding, we move to the second Lord who made it possible. Power, medium to high. Bolton begins as a bannerman to the Starks, but even then he commands significant forces.
Lord Bolton will garrison here until we return.
After his betrayal, he becomes Warden of the North,
The Warden of the North.
which elevates him to one of the most powerful regional players. Intent, selective but high. Bolton is not dangerous to random people. His actions are not emotional or reactive, but when something aligns with his interests, he acts decisively and without hesitation. His intent is not driven by ego. It is calculated. Cruelty, medium to high. Bolton does not harm for pleasure, but his methods are cold and deliberate.
A naked man has few secrets. A flayed man, none.
He uses cruelty as a controlled instrument. His past actions, including rape and calculated violence,
So I had him hanged. And I took her beneath the tree where he was swaying.
show that he has no moral restraint. At the same time, his cruelty is measured, not chaotic. Unlike Ramsay, he does not escalate for enjoyment. Intelligence high. Bolton is a true strategist. He reads the direction of the war early, understands that Robb is likely to lose, and positions himself accordingly.
As soon as you're well enough to travel, I will allow you to go to King's Landing.
Unlike Walder Frey, he does not just react to opportunity, he prepares for it. His betrayal is not emotional or impulsive, but planned and timed for maximum gain. Stability very high. Bolton is one of the most controlled characters in the series.
I have Tywin Lannister backing me. Who does he have?
As you say.
He does not act out of emotion, does not lose control, and maintains a consistent, calculated approach to every situation. Moral flexibility very high. He has no attachment to loyalty, honor, or ideology. He can shift roles, alliances, and behavior, depending entirely on what benefits him. Scale high, especially after rise to power. Unlike Frey, Bolton is capable of holding and exercising power on a regional level. As Warden of the North, his decisions affect entire territories and populations. His impact is not just situational, it becomes structural. Bolton is not loud, not chaotic, and not impulsive, and that's exactly what makes him dangerous. He combines intelligence, patience, and complete moral detachment with real power. We place him between high C and low B, leaning toward B, a controlled, strategic threat with real regional impact. Number 5, Littlefinger, Petyr Baelish.
Chaos is a ladder.
I knew you were waiting for him. Power, high. Littlefinger starts with nothing.
Littlefinger was born with no lands, no wealth, no armies.
But he builds power through proximity to the throne and control of information, finances, and alliances. He operates at the highest political level without ever being a traditional lord. His power is constructed, not inherited. Intent, targeted. Littlefinger is not dangerous to random people. He does not act without purpose. But once someone becomes part of his plan, they are no longer a person. They are a piece, and he will use or remove that piece without hesitation.
Wait!
Cruelty, low to medium. He does not enjoy suffering, and he rarely acts with direct violence. However, the consequences of his actions can be devastating. Ross's fate is a good example.
She was a bad investment on my part.
Punishment through others, not by his own hand. His cruelty is indirect but effective. Intelligence, maximum. Littlefinger is a master strategist. He builds long-term, multi-layered plans and adapts them as situations evolve. He does not just react to events, he creates them. His intelligence is his primary weapon. Stability, very high. He is controlled, patient, and composed. He can wait, adjust, and strike at the right moment. He does not act impulsively and rarely reveals his true intentions. Moral flexibility, maximum. Littlefinger has no fixed identity or principles.
I don't understand. The Lannisters gave you wealth, power.
A man with no motive is a man no one suspects.
He adapts completely to what benefits him. Loyalty, morality, and roles are all tools to be used when convenient. Scale, very high. Littlefinger operates on a systemic level. His actions contribute directly to the fall of House Stark and the beginning of the War of the Five Kings. He does not just affect individuals, he reshapes the political landscape. Littlefinger is dangerous not because of strength, but because of control. He does not need armies. He moves the people who command them. He is our first A tier, a high-level strategic threat capable of reshaping entire systems. Number 6, Varys.
But what do we have left once we abandon the lie? Chaos.
After Littlefinger, we move to his direct counterpart, but a very different kind of player. Power, high. Varys operates at the highest political level, but his power is not based on titles or armies. It comes from information.
The contents of a man's letters are more valuable than the contents of his purse.
He knows what others don't, and that allows him to influence decisions without appearing to act. Intent, low, and selective. Varys is not interested in random people and does not act for personal gain in the same way Baelish does. His actions are directed toward what he believes is stability of the realm.
I did what I did for the good of the realm. the realm.
He will use people when necessary,
I protect those who work for me.
but usually avoids unnecessary harm. Littlefinger uses people for himself. Varys uses people for an outcome. Cruelty, low. Varys avoids direct cruelty and does not enjoy suffering. However, he is capable of it when required. His revenge against the man who mutilated him
Sorcerer.
Hello, my old friend.
shows that he can be ruthless, but only in very specific personal contexts. In general, his methods are controlled and indirect. Intelligence, maximum. Varys is a long-term strategist. Unlike Baelish, who actively manipulates events, Varys often allows situations to develop and intervenes at key moments. He plays a slower, more observational game. Stability, maximum. He is extremely patient and controlled. Varys can wait for years and does not act impulsively. His decisions are measured and deliberate. Moral flexibility, medium to high. He adapts to changing political situations, but he is not fully flexible. Unlike Baelish, he does have a guiding principle, the stability of the realm.
Who do you truly serve? The realm, my lord.
This limits his actions and makes him more predictable. Scale, very high. Varys operates on the level of kingdoms. He influences who rules, supports long-term political shifts, and works towards shaping the future of the entire realm. We place him to the A tier but below Baelish. Number 7. Cersei Lannister.
I should wear the armor, and you the gown.
The main female villain according to many. Power, very high. Cersei operates at the very center of power. As queen and regent, she controls the capital, commands armies, and influences the entire political system. Intent, conditional but reactive. She does not harm randomly, but her threshold for threat is extremely low. Personal offense, fear, or loss of control can immediately trigger retaliation. Her intent is not strategic, it is emotional. Cruelty, high. Cersei does not enjoy suffering in a purely sadistic sense, but she takes satisfaction in revenge.
I will skin him and his bastard like that wretch on their bloody sigil.
Her cruelty is often disproportionate. The destruction of the Sept shows that she is willing to cause massive collateral damage to eliminate her enemies. Intelligence, medium to high. Cersei is capable of planning and political maneuvering. However, she consistently misreads people and overestimates herself. Her strategies often work short-term but create long-term problems. Stability, low to medium. She can maintain control when things go her way, but under pressure, fear, or loss, she becomes reactive and destructive. Her decisions are heavily influenced by emotion. Moral flexibility, medium to high. Cersei has no moral constraints and is willing to use any method to win. However, she is not flexible in judgment. She does not reassess her beliefs or adapt her worldview, which leads to repeated mistakes. Scale, very high. Cersei operates on a systemic level. Her decisions affect entire cities, regions, and political structures. After Tywin's death, she becomes one of the dominant forces in Westeros. Cersei doesn't control the game. She forces it and breaks it in the process. We place her to the A tier. Number 8, Tywin Lannister.
The king is tired. See him to his chambers.
Come along.
One of the most effective strategists in Westeros. A man who wins wars without fighting them.
Robb Stark had one, never lost a battle, and you defeated him all the same.
Power, very high. After Robert's death, Tywin becomes the de facto ruler of Westeros. As head of House Lannister, he commands vast resources, armies, and political influence. Intent, medium. Tywin does not act randomly or emotionally. However, because he operates on a massive scale, individuals can easily become part of his plans. He does not target you personally, but he will sacrifice you if it serves a larger objective. Cruelty, high. Tywin does not enjoy cruelty, but he uses it decisively and without restraint when necessary.
We hanged 20 men last night.
I don't care if you hanged 100.
The Red Wedding is the clearest example.
Why it is more noble to kill 10,000 men in battle than a dozen at dinner.
Not his direct action, but fully orchestrated by him. His cruelty is calculated and proportional to his goals. Intelligence, maximum. Tywin is a top-tier strategist. He understands systems, alliances, timing, and leverage. Unlike reactive players, he builds conditions where victory becomes inevitable. Stability, very high. He is controlled, patient, and never impulsive. His decisions are deliberate and rarely driven by emotion. Moral flexibility, high. Tywin has a clear goal, legacy, and dominance of House Lannister.
We could establish a dynasty that will last 1,000 years.
But he is fully flexible in how he achieves it. He does not follow moral rules, only outcomes. Scale, very high. Tywin operates on a systemic level. His decisions reshape the political landscape of Westeros and determine the outcome of wars. We place him in A tier. Number 9. Since we are in the Lannister family, finally, Joffrey Baratheon.
Everyone is mine to torment.
Power, high but constrained. Joffrey is king, which gives him massive formal power. However, this power is heavily controlled by Tywin.
Any man who must say, "I am the king," is no true king.
And, to a lesser extent, Cersei. He has authority, but not full control over how it is used. Intent, very high. Joffrey actively seeks to harm.
Tell me, which do you favor? Your fingers or your tongue?
If he cannot do it physically, he will do it through humiliation. Unlike most characters, violence is not a tool or reaction. It is a desire. Cruelty, maximum. Joffrey is a pure sadist.
This one's your father. This one here.
He enjoys suffering and actively creates situations to inflict it.
Samarin, help Sodonto celebrate my name day.
This is what separates him from characters who use cruelty instrumentally. Here, cruelty is the goal. Intelligence, minimal. He is incapable of planning or strategy. His actions are reactive, short-sighted, and often self-destructive. Stability, minimal. Joffrey is highly erratic. His behavior is unpredictable, and he can escalate to violence without warning or reason.
Bring me his head.
Moral flexibility, none. There is no internal conflict, no doubt, and no capacity for change.
You need to ask yourself
I don't need to do anything.
His behavior is fixed and unexamined. Scale, high but misused. Joffrey is a king, which gives him access to massive power. But in practice, he rarely uses it on a systemic level because he is not allowed to do it. Most of his actions are directed at individuals, rather than large-scale political or strategic outcomes. We place him in high B tier. Extreme cruelty with high position, but low effectiveness. If you like this kind of analysis, subscribe. It will help me a lot, and you will get more videos like this. Thank you. Number 10. Ramsay Bolton.
Pork sausage. You think I'm some sort of savage?
The inevitable comparison to Joffrey, but a very different kind of monster. Power, medium to high. Ramsay starts as a bastard, but rises to become Lord of the North. Still, his power is limited compared to major houses like the Lannisters. His authority is real, but not dominant on a global scale. Intent, maximum. Ramsay does not need a reason to harm you. Status, usefulness, loyalty, none of it protects you. If he can hurt you, he will. Cruelty, maximum. For Ramsay, suffering is the goal. Unlike Joffrey, who is impulsive and erratic, Ramsay is methodical. He does not just hurt, he breaks people completely. His cruelty is sustained and deliberate. Intelligence, medium. Ramsay is capable in the short term. He can manipulate, intimidate, and use psychological pressure effectively. However, he cannot build long-term strategies. His behavior destroys trust and makes stable alliances impossible. Stability, none. He is consistently unpredictable. There is no safe way to deal with him. Even if you are useful, loyal, or valuable, he can turn on you at any moment. Moral flexibility, none. Ramsay does not adapt internally. He can pretend when needed.
She really is lovely. I hope I can make her happy.
But his nature does not change. There is no scenario where he becomes less dangerous. Scale, medium. He can control regions and harm groups, especially as Lord of the North. But his influence does not extend to the highest level of political systems, and his instability limits expansion. Joffrey is a sadist with power he doesn't control. Ramsay is a sadist who fully controls what he does with it. We place him to the high B tier, but higher than Joffrey. And before we get to the main boss, there is a little bonus. Number 11. Daenerys Targaryen. She probably wouldn't be on this list if she had stayed in Essos. Power, maximum. Daenerys commands two of the most effective armies in the world, the Unsullied and the Dothraki, and controls 3 dragons. This is unmatched direct power. Intent, conditional. At her core, Daenerys wants to protect and liberate. However, her intent shifts under pressure. When her vision is challenged or resisted, she becomes willing to use extreme force. By the final stage, entire populations become acceptable targets. Cruelty, medium to high. Daenerys does not enjoy suffering, but she accepts it when it serves her goal. Her early actions are controlled and targeted.
Dracarys.
Later, her use of violence becomes disproportionate. Her cruelty is not sadistic. It is justified in her own mind, which makes it more dangerous. Intelligence, medium. She is capable of decisive action and bold moves, such as acquiring the Unsullied. However, she struggles with long-term strategy and often relies on advisors. She also misreads people and situations, which leads to critical mistakes. Stability, high to low, declining. At the beginning, Daenerys is controlled and focused. Over time, loss, isolation, and pressure destabilize her. By the end, her decision-making becomes emotional and extreme. Moral flexibility, medium to high. Daenerys begins with a strong moral framework, but gradually expands what she considers acceptable. She does not abandon her values. She reinterprets them to justify increasingly extreme actions. Scale, maximum. With her armies and dragons, Daenerys operates on a level that can reshape or destroy entire kingdoms. Her impact is not regional, it is total. Daenerys doesn't choose cruelty. She convinces herself it's justice. We place her to the high A tier. And finally, we got to the final boss, Night King. Not a player in the game, the end of the game itself. Power, maximum. The Night King commands an ever-growing army of the dead. Every loss of his enemy becomes his gain. Unlike any other character, his power scales automatically. The longer he exists, the stronger he becomes. Intent, maximum. There is no negotiation, no condition, no exception. Every living being is a target. His intent is absolute and universal. Cruelty, maximum. He does not enjoy suffering, but that makes him more terrifying. His goal is not pain, it is total annihilation. Cruelty here is not emotional or ideological. It is complete and inevitable. Intelligence, high but non-human. The Night King is not a strategist in a human sense, but he is far from mindless. He demonstrates planning, patience, and understanding of his enemies, from targeting key individuals to breaching the wall. However, his intelligence is singular and focused, not adaptive in the way human players are. Stability, absolute. He does not hesitate, does not doubt, and does not change course. There is no emotion, no internal conflict, no unpredictability. His behavior is perfectly consistent. Moral flexibility, irrelevant. He has no morality, no values, no identity to adjust. Concepts like loyalty, justice, or ambition do not apply to him. Scale, maximum. The Night King operates beyond kingdoms, beyond politics, beyond individuals. He is not trying to win power. He is erasing the world in which power exists. Everyone else on this list wants something from the world. The Night King wants the world to end. So he is the S tier, alone. What do you think? Which one of them is the most dangerous? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.